Hey folks, in today's video, we're going to recreate Apple's homepage in our powerful Bootstrap Studio web design tool. As with all our videos, you can find links to the BS design file and image assets in the description below. Here's the site we'll be building today. We will start with the dark Navbar. After this, we'll do each of these large product cards. Then we'll design this promo grid. And finally, the footer. Once we're ready, we'll make the page responsive and publish it as a real website right from the app. Let's begin. We have Bootstrap Studio open on a blank design. First, we'll search for a navbar and we'll drag and drop it into the body of the page. This gives us the default Bootstrap top navigation, but we have to make it dark. To do this, we'll change the background option here and set the text to white. Then we'll make the navbar stick to the top of the page. We'll also disable the fluid option, so the nav has a fixed maximum size instead of taking the entire width of the page. Next, we want to make the links in the nav evenly spaced out. This is easy to do with Flexbox. First, we'll select the nav. Then, in the Flexbox group, we'll enable Grow and set Justify Content to Between. Then, we'll disable the active option on the first link. And duplicate it a few times to create the other menu links. To duplicate an element, press Ctrl and D together. On macOS, the combo is done with Command and D. Some of the menu links contain icons instead of text, so we'll just drag and drop icon components inside them. Then, we remove the text and double-click the icon to change it. Double-clicking will change it and close the dialog. Now we'll update the menu links to match those on Apple's website. Let's fast forward a bit. The last two entries are icons for search and shopping. As with the logo, we'll just remove the text and double-click to change the icons. Now we can focus on the styling. For this, we'll write a bit of CSS. The first thing we need to do is to change the background color of the navbar to black. We'll make it semi-transparent with the opacity property. Then we'll select the first link and create a new CSS block. We'll set the color to white and the font size to 13 pixels. The logo will need a bit of special treatment, so we'll give it a class name. As the Font Awesome icon set is a standard web font, we can enlarge the icon by increasing the font size. To center it vertically, we'll decrease the line height. Navbars in Bootstrap are responsive by default, so everything will work correctly when we test it for different screen sizes. Now we can make the product cards. They all have a similar structure: a heading, tagline, links, and an image. Each of these products will be represented by a section element. We'll drop it into the body, select it, and give it a class name. We'll add two classes: Product, which will be shared with all other blocks on the page, and iPhone X, which is specific for this block. Inside it, we'll drop two headings. Looks like we have a problem. Because the navbar is fixed to the top of the page, it's obscuring our headings. This is easy to fix by adding a top padding to the body. Great. Now select the section and create a new CSS block. It will be shared by all product cards, so we'll remove the iPhone X part. We give the section a large top padding and center it. Then we'll change the text. We'll change it to H2. The first heading needs to be quite a bit bigger, so we'll give it a larger font size. We'll also make it bold. Looks like we have an extra dot here. We'll duplicate the block for the second heading. It's starting to take shape. Next, we'll drop a div for the links and give it a class name. After this, we'll add a link and an icon. Duplicate them and change the text. We'll replace the icon. Do the same for the second link. We have to increase the font size of the links. For this, we'll create a new CSS block and tweak the text size. It looks great. There should be some space between the links. To do this, we'll add a class name to the first one, create a new block, and give it a right margin. Now is time for the product image. Just drop an image component inside the section. We'll import a few photos we've prepared. You can find these linked in the description below. They are added to your library, and you can drop them into your design at any time. We'll choose one of the images and make it responsive. The only thing left is to add a background color to the section. It is specific to this product card, so the iPhone X part remains. Let's see how things look like in the browser by starting the preview. It looks great. Our first section is ready. We'll speed things up by duplicating it a couple of times for the other products. Select the second section and change the product class name. Then we'll edit the text. And choose a different photo. Again, we'll have to add a background color to match the photo. This is specific for this section. We'll repeat this for the third section. Let's fast forward a bit. As before, we'll choose a background color from the photo. This time, though, we'll have to change the text color as well. We can do this by making a dark version of the product cards. Remove the MacBook part of the selector. And set color to white. Duplicate the block to change the link colors as well. We also have to remove the space beneath the links. Let's see how things look in the browser. The design is taking shape. There's one small detail missing. On Apple's website, product cards are divided by a bit of white space here. This is easy to do. Just find the product class and add a small bottom margin. Very well. Things look better. We can now move on with the next part of the design, the promo grid. Some of the cards here have background images and others are similar to the cards we already made. In Bootstrap, we construct grids using rows and columns. We'll go ahead and drop a row in the body. Select it and give it a class name. Then, drop a column and make it take half the width by setting MD to 6. Inside the column, we'll drop a div and give the product's small class name. Next, we'll make a new block. Give the div a height, some padding, and margin. We'll also center it. After this, we'll drop 2 headings. The first will be an H3 and the second H4. Press Shift and Enter to insert new lines. Let's make the first heading larger. And bolder. Duplicate the block for the second heading. Now, to give the element a background, switch to the Look and Feel tab and click the Background Image setting. Choose an image, center it, and set it to cover the entire element. In the browser, we can see the finished card. To speed things up, we can duplicate the element to make the second card. We'll give it a class name. And edit the text. We'll copy the links we made before. Change the text and the icon. Edit the second link. We'll duplicate this CSS block to make use of the styles we wrote. Do the same for this block. And give it a background. We'll have to adapt the dark class. And for this block as well. The text needs to be near the bottom of the card. This is easy to do with a bit of padding. The space between the cards is too large. We can improve the design by switching the gutters off. This removes the default spacing between Bootstrap columns. However, this makes the right column touch the edge of the window, so we'll have to add a bit of padding. Everything looks great and our cards are nicely spaced out. Let's move on to the other cards. Again, we will duplicate the column and change its class. We'll also remove the background image. Edit the text and add another heading. And edit the links. We'll drop an image. And set the element's background to match it. Great. It it could use a bit more space below the links. We can add it here. Duplicate the column again and change the heading text. Then just remove the links and the image and choose a background. We'll add the dark class we wrote to make the text readable. Great. We'll duplicate the iPhone column to create the next product card. And change the product class name. Change the text and photo. Duplicate the CSS and change the color. The last block is nearly the same. Duplicate, change the class name, and drop an icon. We'll replace the icon and change the heading text. We'll have to add one more heading this time. Change the text and create a CSS block for it. We'll make it red, smaller, and bolder. Finally, we'll change the image and set the background to match. And with this, our product grid is ready. The last thing we have to do is the footer. For this, we'll use a component from our online library. We'll just search for it and install it. From this moment on, we can just drag and drop it into any design. The only thing we have to do is change the footer links. And with this, our design is nearly complete. All that remains is to make it work better on small screens. Let's open Chrome DevTools and click on the Emulate view. It looks all right, but we'll have to add some padding on the sides and shrink the headings a bit. There's also extra space around the grid cards. Let's switch to the app. We'll first add a bit of padding to the left and the right of the large cards. We'll then duplicate this CSS block and add a media query. This will limit it so it affects only devices larger than smartphones, where we want the padding to be the same as it is now. This block here will affect every device, including smartphones. We'll decrease the top padding for it. We'll remove the duplicate declarations from the second block. Then we'll do the same for the H1 heading. Here, we want a smaller font size on smartphones. The same goes for the H2 heading. The links need a smaller bottom margin than desktop browsers. The MacBook block needs more space on smartphones. And for the product small cards in the grid, we want to remove the white space to the sides on mobile devices. Let's see how it looks in the browser. Very well, things look better. Headings are smaller, we have more padding, the extra white space is gone. And with this, our design is complete. Another powerful feature that Bootstrap Studio gives you is the ability to upload websites online with a single click. To do this, we just select the Publish Options menu. We haven't created any websites yet, so we click here, and then choose the Add Website button. We'll change the subdomain and click Create. Close this dialog and select your new website in the drop-down. Press Publish, and in an instant, your website is online. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel to get more tutorials like this one and visit our website for more.